So let's talk about the irregular preterite in Spanish. So just to recap, if you haven't seen the last two videos I did on the preterite, I'm going to link them at the end of this video. You should be able to find them down below as well. But the preterite, what is it? It's the completed past, right? It's things we did one time. It's things that we are done and over with in the past, right? I walked, I talked, I sang, I ate breakfast, I drove to work, I worked out, whatever it may be. Now, in general, with like just normal AR, ER, IR verbs, there's a two-step process we follow to get the conjugations, right? So remove that AR, ER, IR, and step two, add our ending. So our AR endings are E, aste, O, amos, aron, and our ER, endings are I, iste, io, imos, ieron. And so just for example, like viajar, to travel, yo viajé, tú viajaste, él viajó, nosotros viajamos, ellos viajaron, or ayudar, help, yo ayudé, tú ayudaste, él ayudó, nosotros ayudamos, ellos ayudaron. Or ER, comer, salir. Yo comí, tú comiste, él comió, nosotros comimos, ellos comieron. Or salir. Yo salí, tú saliste, él salió, nosotros salimos, ellos salieron. We do unfortunately have some irregularities to talk about, right? So there's two classes of irregularities we could talk about here with the preterite, right? The first is the irregulars that just have weird stems but follow a pattern. And then there's the completely irregular, which first things first, the completely irregular is ser, ir, and dar, right? Dar is weird because it's an AR, but it takes on ER, IR endings. So it's, remember our ER, IR endings, I, iste, io, imos, ieron, and dar becomes di, diste, dio, dimos, dieron. I gave, yo di, tú diste, you gave, él dio, he gave, nosotros dimos, we gave, ellos dieron, they gave. Now, the other one we have to deal with is ser and ir, which for God knows why reason, share the same conjugations, right? But it is super easy to tell them apart. So the conjugations are fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. That's gonna get you your conjugations of I went, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron, and I was, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. And so the way to tell these two apart is the presence or absence of the preposition a, which is to. That a is there, fui a, fuiste a, fue a, fuimos a, fueron a, right? That a is to, so it's indicating a direction towards something or an intention to do some action, right? Fui a caminar, I went to walk. Fuiste a esquiar, you went to ski. Fue a la escuela, you went to school. Fuimos a la casa, we went home. Ellos fueron al trabajo, they went to work. And if it's alone, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron, then it's just going to be it was, right? I was, you were. The other group is honestly kind of a pain in the butt. There's no rhyme or reason for why this happens. There's no tip or trick I can give you as terms of helping you to remember this. It's just a matter of practicing it and doing it in the repetition set, right? So first things first, the irregulars take on, it's a different set of endings, but it's kind of a combination of the ARs and ERs. So the endings are E, iste, o, imos, ieron, right? So for yo and el, ella, it's the AR endings. And for tú, nosotros and ellos, ellas, it's the ER, endings, right? And you'll notice there's no accent mark over the A, over the O, right? Like there is with the normal ARs, right? And so our irregular list, right? So I'm gonna include here the verb and its irregular stem, right? And then what it means will hopefully pop up here shortly as well beside it, if there's room, I don't know. So all it is that these verbs, estar, venir, traer, decir, hacer, have all these stems that we have to use, and we just have to memorize them. There's no way to get around it, right? And so the way I would practice this is the same way I would practice any other verb, right? I would pick a stem, right? Make sure I know which verb it links up with, right? And then just practice the conjugations. Estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuvieron. Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijeron. Traje, trajiste, trajo, trajimos, trajeron. Vine, viniste, vino, vinimos, vinieron. Right? And just practice that as many times as you can. Then I would go into making up sentences, right? Yo hice la cena. I made dinner. Yo vine a la casa. I came to the house. Yo dije la verdad a mi mamá. I told the truth to my mom. Yo estuve en la tienda ayer. I was at the store yesterday. And just practice with yo. And then I would take those same verbs, run through the full list, right? And use them for tú, for el, ella, ellos, ellas, nosotros, right? Until you feel comfortable with them, right? And then once we have sentences for all of our subjects, we can go back, started with yo and start to combine them. And I would take, from this list, I would just try to take 2 or 3 and be like, how can I combine these into a sentence? Yo vine a la casa y hice la cena. I came to the house and made dinner. Estuve en la tienda y por eso traje huevos. I was at the store and so I brought eggs. Then expand it out to ellos, ellas, right? And now, when you want to just practice this idea of preterite in total, the best way you can do that is starting to journal, right? So sit down at the end of the day or make it up at the beginning of the day or whenever you have time and talk about what you did, okay? And the reason why this is really good is, one, you get to practice the conjugations, right? And I suggest at the top of the page, put the endings, right? So you can quickly reference them. Write what you did. This is gonna be really good because it's gonna allow you to come up with lots of words that you don't know and that are important to your daily life, right? If you like to go to the gym all the time, you probably need to know the word of entrenar, train. And you also be forced to learn all the parts of the body as you talk about your day, right? You also notice not just verbs, but also items that are missing from your vocabulary. Journaling, super good way to practice. I'm gonna put a video out later about journaling and how you can use that and how you can do that, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any requests, leave them down in the comments below. If you want my free vacation survival guide, be sure to send me a message. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.